again, Shalon Day with Bible Journaling Ministries. Today I would like to join you in making a bookmark using our new 2-page black and white kit for Psalm 717 and incorporating our grunge, distress, steampunk technique theme for this month. I'm using cardstock, ribbon, some charms that I had on hand, as well as gel pens, colored pencils, distress ink, a blending sponge, double-sided tape, a Tombow pen, a hole punch, and a toolkit to be able to set an eyelet. So if you're ready, let's get started. So let's take a look at this month's 2-page black and white kit. The verse reference for this kit is Psalm 717. In the World English Bible it reads, "I will give thanks to Yahweh according to his righteousness, and will sing praise to the name of Yahweh Most High." The title of this kit is Give Thanks to Yahweh. So on the first page you've got all of these people with full plates, full hands, getting ready to have full bellies, I can only assume. You've got a pie, a hot and steamy turkey, a cornucopia. You've got your crosses, your tab. You've got 3 different washies that include people gather around a table, a cornucopia, and it looks like the turkey, as well as your scripture reference and your tab. The second page has larger images, including the family gathered around the table. You've got more food images, a larger cornucopia, and 2 larger people with their hands full, and crosses. So how am I going to take this black and white 2-page kit and incorporate our technique theme for this month of grunge, distress, kind of steampunk theme? We're going to make a bookmark, and I will be coloring the pieces of the kit that I'm going to use on my bookmark, but I have cut out 2 pieces of just beige cardstock. This one is right at 2 inches wide, and this one is about 1.75 inches wide. I am going to layer these eventually and make this where it will flip up. So I've actually got a little more strength because I am going to use my hole punch to put a hole here, and then I'm going to take 2 different kinds of ribbon, thinner ribbon, possibly some cross-stitch thread, and then in my little toolbox, a literal toolbox, I have all of these charms, and I hold on to like watch pieces that maybe the watches have broken, or maybe old brooches that I might find at a yard sale or a thrift store. But I am going to take my little charms here that are keys and attach those using either my ribbon or my cross-stitch thread to make a dangle out of the top of my Bible and my bookmark. I haven't quite decided how or if I'm going to use this watch face, but it was so cool. And so these little charms I bought several years ago in a great big bag or bundle off of Amazon. In fact, I think these are from 2 different, maybe even 3 different sets, because I've got kind of a tarnished brass looking, and then a silver, and then I don't know, a darker. So these are probably from from different little sets that I've bought over the years, actually, to make bookmarks. So we're going to put this stuff to good use. I'm also going to be using distress ink. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to use black soot, walnut stain, or tea dye. But we are going to get a little crafty and incorporate this black and white 2-page kit into a bookmark, grunge, steampunk type of creation to put into my Bible. So just to start out, I will get the parts of the kit that I'm going to be using. The choice is yours. The choice is also yours, however wide you want to make your bookmark. If you just want to do one instead of layering, that's totally up to you. I am going to distress my bookmark using my distress inks, but I'm going to get the pieces of the kit colored that I want to use on my bookmark, and I will be right back. So I got the pieces of the kit that I want to use on my bookmark. I used distress ink, tea dye, and walnut stain with a blending brush just to color in the scripture, and then I colored in what I wanted to use from both pages on my bookmark. Now I am going to be using a stencil that I made from one of our Faith Inspiration challenges from, I believe it was season 1. I could be wrong in season 2, but I'm going to be using the gears on my bookmark with my distress inks to create a background. So let's move this out of the way and we will get started putting our bookmark together. You can make this any size that you want to. I'm going to grab my tape runner, and I'm only going to put 2 strips of the tape because I don't want it, I want to be able to fold it, but I'm trying to add some strength when I put my eyelet on to tie my ribbons. And while I was away, I went ahead and cut my ribbons and added my little charms. I didn't want you to have to sit, oop, that one came untied. So I'm just going to do this again and show you. You may want to double knot it. Let's just make that go a second time through there and pull it tight. That works. So I will feed these through once, let's see, once we get our hole punched and our eyelet in, I will run these through and just tie them off as like tassels. So eventually they will be up here, well, they'll hang out of my Bible. But we have to get our hole punch first. I'm using a very old hole punch that was my grandfather's. It always sat at his desk, and you could use any size that you would like. I found an eyelet that matched the size very well, and to set my eyelet I'm going to be using a toolkit that I got about 25 years ago for scrapbooking. I don't even know if this company is still in business, but it was this little toolkit when I was doing scrapbooking. It has all of these neat little tools and a pad. I'll put that pad down, put my little eyelet on here, and it's gonna go like that. I need to close off my eyelet. So I have this end on my little punch tool. I have the wrong end on my little punch tool. So I have one that is kind of pointy. you can see that or not, but it's got a little bit of a point. And so I'm just going to put the point in the center of my eyelet here, and then take my little hammer here and just flatten it out. Let me do that off camera so that it's not too loud for you. I'll be right back. Okay, I got that smashed down. And now I can turn, oh no, I did it backwards. That's okay, this is going to be covered up. But I'm going to fold my bookmark up because I'm going to stencil my gears on here. I'm going to stencil my gears on here. Sometimes you just have to roll with it when we do things backwards. That's just the way it is sometimes. I can go ahead and put my ribbons through, and I'm just going to tie a knot, probably 2 knots. Kind of get my ribbons put together here, and I'm going to come through the back side. Should be the front side. And just tie these on. But I'm going to try to pull it where it ties at the top. Kind of manipulate it and tie it again. My hands aren't working very well, and there we go. So now I have some keys that are kind of steampunk at the top of my bookmark. Let's go ahead and put the scripture reference piece on the other side, and I'm just going to put it down, and then if I need to trim, which I do, I can do that. Just so that it is even. A little bit hanging off, but that's okay. That is okay. So I'm just going to take my stencil here. I'm going to start on the bottom, which is the larger part. Just going to line my stencil up. Like this. Get it up under there. I'm going to take a sponge, a blending sponge. And this is what I used to ink my scripture reference. I'm going to use it in the same way here. And I'm going to start off with vintage photo first. So let's rub our sponge and then just apply that distress ink. Now you could also use your ink pad to add the color and then just spread it off of the stencil material using the sponge. Either way you choose to do it, it's fine. Whatever's easiest. I'll show you what I mean by that. So I could kind of stamp my stencil, and if I don't know if you can tell, but the ink is on my stencil and I kind of get a harder line on the inside. So depending on how you want your little gears to look, and you can layer distress inks, which is I like if you wanted to just add a touch of something, a different color, or on top of it, you can do that. So for example, let's look at this walnut stain. It's a little bit of a darker shade than the vintage photo, but I can take that and just layer on top just of some of them to give them a more worn out look. Or if you had like a turquoise that you could use like a patina on these gears, you could do that as well. I'm not going to do all of them like this, just some. And we'll raise that up, and there is our background. Distressed Steampunk. Let's put a piece of paper on here. So we're going to do the top part now. I'm just going to turn my kit over so that I can not go over what I just did. And we'll just turn it a little bit. Take the vintage photo again and repeat the process. The only reason that I put the paper underneath here, underneath the first layer, is because I didn't want to layer my gears. I wanted each layer to have their own set. On this one because I've got a piece of it that's just barely hanging on. And now I can take my do this. Some of them are a little lighter, some of them are a little darker. Now I will take the walnut stain again, trying very hard not to move my stencil, and pick up some of that and just maybe do the ends. Kind of layering that color just a little bit on some of them. Not too much, just enough. Very nice. Now I'm going to take a Tombow mono twin, so it's double-ended. You have a finer end and then a thicker end. And right up here at the top, I am going to write give, and then in a different kind of lettering I'm going to say thanks. Very tall and skinny letters here. And we'll say 2. And we'll do them Yahweh. Same way. Tall and skinny. And write our reference, Psalm 7:17. Okay. Now we'll just take our pieces from our kit, and you can either put them up here or down here. I think I'm going to put mine here and then use my crosses to we'll do some layering here of our stickers. I printed mine on sticker paper and cut it with my silhouette. And I just used colored pencils, Crayola twistables, and gel pens to do my coloring on my illustrations. That may be too large to use the ham. Let's use the potatoes. Like this, and a little gravy boat. Okay, so I can't use the little ham, but I am going to use my crosses, the larger ones here on this back side, just to add a pop of color. And now on the front, I will use these 3 from the first page. And there we have made ourselves a distressed steampunk type of bookmark using our 2-page kit for Psalm 7:17. Give thanks to Yahweh. And we've got a very cool little bookmark. Simple, not hard, but we gave it some flavor. We all like to have a little flavor and sass in our Bible journaling a little bit, just as we are being creative in the presence of the Lord. Thank you for joining me. Until next time, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May his face shine upon you. See you again soon. Goodbye.